Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's Sunday, I'm out in the yard and just having some thoughts about, when you feel like you're feeling discouraged, self-doubt, unsure of what to do. What I'm finding is God, I think the idea of God has been extremely twisted, and people are saying I have to live for God, I have to. And the idea and the image of God is actually very twisted in my opinion as well. It's like God is a father who gives guidance, not one who punishes, but one who teaches discipline and joy and confidence. And so the idea of God, a God complex, has been derived from the original idea of who God is really supposed to be. And so, in certain religions, God is very punishing and damaging. And I think those are things that we as humans have taken on, whether it be from other people, because of other people, the way of the world, controlling people, and God just wants us to be happy. And so if you feel like you're doing something and you're punishing yourself, God is not punishing you. He's trying to guide you. You're punishing yourself and you're claiming that I have to be in this space that is painful and punishing, but like, you have a choice to do different. You get to choose differently. And I think a lot of people have taken on that role of God complex and deem to know what God wants for all of us, and to think that God wants to behave in certain ways. I think those are man-made ideas, and even the idea of, I think God wants me to do this or do that. God wants you to do what's going to make you happy without hurting yourself. That's what God wants, in my opinion. And that doesn't mean you have to take him as, front and center. That's not what a father wants either. Think about, as a parent, we want our kids to do well. We want our kids to thrive and do better than us. So to think that God wants us always to be do as God would do, and that's important, don't get me wrong, belief systems are important and how we behave and how we treat ourselves, but I think there's a sacrificing element that has been added to this, to where it makes us feel like, well, I can't do this because it's not 100% in the eyes of God. But I mean, doing better for yourself is what God wants. So and that doesn't go from a 0 to 90, and so being consistent and moving on a path that is for you as opposed to for someone else, I think is important. And I just this morning had a quiet moment where it feels a little emotional, because it feels like I've been doing so many things to please other people, and even when you think you're not, you still are, because you don't always get that support right away, and so that can be questioning in your mind. And if you come from a place like I have, it's a lot of the people that were meant to support me actually made life really hard for me, and that for whatever reasons, they'll claim reasons like they were trying to protect me, they didn't want me to get hurt, they didn't think I was making good decisions. But a father guides while they let their children experience life and are there for support and guidance, not to enable or remove life lessons, because we understand as a parent that our kids need that struggle in order to in order to become who we truly are. And it's not to control and say you need to do this as I did. As a father, a father doesn't want his child to do as they did. They want to do better. And so this do as I say, not as I do kind of idea is so outdated and controlling. And I don't know, I just kind of had a moment this morning. I always felt like I had to prove my connection with God so that people would believe me, and the choice, in order to validate the choices that I've made. And I've never been validated, and that's not, I don't need that. And so it's interesting, because in that moment, what I heard was, it was never about God. And you know, trying to prove that there's a God or trying to prove that there's a godly way to live. It's more about like me and stepping into my purpose and doing what makes me happy, and not necessarily feeling like I'm, you know, a spokesperson for God. Like, you know, because you want people, sometimes you feel like, you know, if people can't see the God in the moment, then they just don't believe there's some reason to move towards. But I've been doing this for myself, and while I believe that I had to somewhat be like a spokesperson for God or spirit or the divine, the actual reason for me making these changes in the end is just for me to be happy. And so I guess I felt like I was always trying to either prove something to others and needing them to see, like, this is why I'm doing it, this is what, and I just don't need that anymore from certain people. And I guess, you know, I think we all like to think that we don't care what people think, and I think there are times where we have to recognize, like, we still do care for whatever reason, you know, like there are people that I've had to let go of that I didn't want to have to, you know, do that, but at the same time it's like I can't carry them with me, and they're like wild feral animals. And you think that if you just say something, if you just show them, you know, that they'll want to do it, but that's still not enough. It's still, and it's not my job. It's not my job to show other people like their rights and their wrongs, you know. And I don't know. It was just an odd emotional moment that kind of hit me. I'm actually just finishing up my yard here. I'll do a video to show you what I've been working on later. But it's just a nice, quiet, sunny morning, and I just had some sort of, I don't know. I just realized, like, this isn't about being a spokesperson for God. God is not the front runner here. He is a guide and a support, and it's not meant to be all about him or her or whoever it is. It's really meant to be focused on you, me, you know, as individuals. And God is here as support. He's never wanted this sort of, like, would you call that validation, I guess, or like credit. It's not about giving God credit for everything. While yes, we are meant to be grateful and things like that, like we are the ones doing the work here, we are being guided and supported by God, but at the same time, it's like, I think a lot of religions put so much focus on the God factor that they lose sight of themselves, and then they become like a martyr, a sacrificial lamb. And I don't think that's what life is about. I don't think we're meant to self-sacrifice for the sake of others who don't want to see where they're living their life in the sake of other people. And so, I don't know, it's just a nice moment I had, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. And so hopefully that helps you in whatever decision you make moving forward, and that it's about you, and God is there to guide and support you, but you're not there to convince others that there is a God, that you know, like, it's not about convincing others. This is between you and God, and not the need to feel like I don't know, I just see some people that are always like, give it to God, and I get that part, but like, I think some people are codependent on God, is what I'm trying to say, in the way that, like, if they don't receive some big sign, or if they don't receive some sort of, people, it feels like some people are waiting, like, for God to come back and save us. I don't believe God's coming back to save us. If you can't help yourself, why would God come here? Do you understand? Like, if you're not going to help yourself, like, why is God going to help you? You know, like, it would be like giving someone a beautiful sandwich and then them throw it in the garbage because they don't like tomatoes. And I don't know, I don't know if that's a good comparison, but it's just like, I don't think you're going to get support until you decide that you want to help yourself. Because if you keep choosing toxic patterns, I mean, you're just throwing away. Like, I think that energy is going to go to those who want to change, who want to do the work. Like, for me, as I move in the direction of me and loving myself and providing for me and living the life that I want, I get supported in that way. Are there challenges? Yep, there's a lot of challenges. It's very challenging, and there's a lot of people that target me because of the choices I make, and because they're not wanting to make them for themselves. you know, and a number of people, women, men, whatever, unfortunately get targeted by groups and communities because you're choosing something different and you have different belief systems. And so that's not, why would a God want that? Why would a God want someone to target another individual because they don't believe what another person believes? That's so, you know, that's not a healthy that's not a healthy way to be. You know, even if someone believes something different, you just gotta let them run that through and figure it out for themselves. We can't change people, we can't heal people. And at the same time, it's not like, you know, for me, I've made tons of mistakes, but it's in those mistakes that I've learned what is for me and what is not, and who I am and who I'm not. And that's where I've built my confidence, and that's where I've removed the self-doubt, because I just got so sick of feeling like, you know, you're gonna say something wrong, or this belief and that belief, and I just got more focused on what helped me heal. And that's what I want for this channel, is to focus on what helped me get to where I'm at, and let you choose for yourself. Like, if that's helpful for you, cool. If it's not, then also cool. And I feel like I was getting so caught up in like what to do on my channel. Like, do I want to do readings? Do I want to just do tutorials? And you know, I'm a garden girl too, and all of these things have helped me get to where I'm at. And so I want to include all of these things as a lifestyle channel, and that's who I am. I have all these aspects. I have all these, you know, I have frustrations. Things are, some things come easy to me, some things don't. You know, this has not been an easy path to travel by myself, independently, being targeted by my community, by coworkers, by bosses, by family, by relationships. Like, you know, I've lived my life on my own outside of my two children for I don't know how long now. I cut off a lot of people, and I think it was like 2021. But even before I cut off those people, they were never really with me. They were sabotaging my efforts. And, you know, that's been a challenge on itself, is recognizing that the people who are meant to love you actually it's not that they couldn't even support me. They went out of their way to hurt me. That's been a challenge to see, and feel like the God energy around me when these experiences are happening. But you know what? Like, there are moments where it felt like God did step back, but that was for me to grow, and that was for me to grow strength and realize, like, not to be codependent on things outside of myself. Like, that's what a parent wants. God doesn't want you to be codependent on him. He wants, or her, whatever, you know. It's not about being codependent. It's about, you know, feeling confident and making your own decisions, and not feeling you have to ask permission from God every time you want to do something, or, you know, send out a prayer just to get some sort of confirmation, when you know the answer. You know the answer. If you're living with stress, that's not the right path. You know, we'll look for all these different solutions for our health issues and our aches and pains, and it's stress. And that stress is coming from living a life that is outside of yourself, like looking for solutions outside of you. Even in the direction of religion and God and spirituality, those areas have lots of, you know, loopholes and ways that are going to get you stuck, because they waste your time. And it's not like a time waster. I learned a lot from that, but at the same time, and that's the things I want to share on my channel too, is like what helped me and what didn't help me. And it doesn't have to mean that's for you. It's just how I'm sharing my message. And stress and living a life that was not for me is what caused me a lot of my health issues, my anxiety, my depression. And so these are things I'm going to talk about coming up. And so hopefully you have a beautiful Sunday. It's really gorgeous out here today. My garden is really coming together. It's still really rough, but you know what? That's just life. And we'll get there. I'll get pressed and I'll get pushed, and I'll do what I have to do to get the life that I want. And yeah, so hopefully that helps. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and take care.